Good morning, everyone. This is Kamera again. This is day number 23, Exodus chapter 16 through Exodus 18. We left off where the children of Israel were stuck in a hard place, and they complained to Moses. And Moses tried to reassure them and tell them that, stay calm and watch what God does. Just have faith in him. Just trust him. And after that, he went ahead and parted the Red Sea, and the children of Israel made it safely over to the other side. Pharaoh and his army was destroyed. That was yesterday's lesson. Today, they're continuing their journey in the wilderness, and this is a month after they left Egypt. They began to complain. They complained to Moses, and they're telling Moses, oh, we had it good in Egypt. We ate well. It's funny how people forget the bad part. They don't remember the good part when God has delivered them from something. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Remember what God brought you from. Was it really all that? I hear people who have been delivered from bad relationships, bad situations where they were in the middle of a lifestyle that was not pleasing to God, and they weren't happy, even though maybe they were financially happy. And sometimes I hear them saying about all the cool stuff they had, or the nice things they have, or how they used to live in a nice way. But they forget where God had brought them from. So people, let's leave the past in the past. Okay? If you're going to think on something, you think on how God brought you out. Forget about the so-called good stuff that was there as well. Children of Israel saying, oh, we ate well. We just sat around and ate well. Dude, come on, stop lying. Stop lying. It wasn't like that. You guys, come on. Anyway, so they complained to Moses. And so Moses is like, what your complaints shouldn't be against me. Why you fussing with me about this? Your argument should be against God. Don't forget, Moses and Aaron are just the messengers. They're being led by God. And people, that's something that we need to examine ourselves when we complain about leaders. Really, you don't complain against the leader. I was with my ministry for over 20 years. And I listened to my pastor. If I didn't feel it, she was like, ask God for the mind, ask God for the desire, ask God for a willing mind, and I would do that. Ask God for zeal. I would go to God because my relationship, my walk was with God, and I trusted my leader, and I listened to what she said, and it made me a better person. I learned to trust God. So in this situation right here, these folks saw what God did, and they're crying to Moses, complaining to Moses. Why? Why? Your relationship is with God. Your walk is with God. So, this leaders go through a lot. And so in this case right here, they're complaining. And so Moses takes it to God. And so God promises them, he decides, I'm going to send them some bread down in the morning, and I'm going to send them some quail or meat in the evening. But this is also a test as well. I want you guys to, when you gather the manna, just get enough for your family. Don't try and store anything for 6 days. I'm going to give you manna on that 7th day. Then that's going to be enough. You don't work on that day. Now, that's something I need to learn right there. Having me a Sabbath day to rest. The Sabbath day is the day that God allowed you to rest, guys. There's a big debate about what the Sabbath day is. But from my understanding, that Sabbath day is that day you choose to rest. And so let the Lord lead you in that area. But so these children of Israel, they gather the manna, the manna enough for who's ever in their family. And so the 6th day, God gave them twice as much manna. And he tells them, don't go out. Don't go out that 7th day. Look for manna. There's going to be any. And then those 6 days that you're gathering, those other 5 days, don't even expect for it. Don't even save any for the next day. So the first 5 days, you had some people who just want to do what they want to do, don't want to follow instructions. If God's going to bless you and he says don't save any for the next day, or he give you specific instructions, just trust him. So those who kept leftovers, they would wake up the next morning. There'd be maggots in that leftover food for that day. But the 6th day, when he told them to gather enough for 2 days, it stored. It preserved for that 7th day. And you had people waking up on the 7th day going looking for manna. Seriously? There was none. He told you to rest that day. But the other people who, the ones who did what they're supposed to do, they gathered enough for 2 days and they didn't go out. They were obedient. Oh my God, people listen. And so God was like, oh my God, why won't these people listen to me? So now fast forward, they continue their journey. Now they're in the area, they need water. Oh, Moses, Aaron, you guys brought us out here to kill us. Really, Moses? Like, your complaint is not with me. Your complaint is with God. Folks, stop it. Stop it. Your walk, your relationship is with God. If you are lacking in any way, that's who you take it to. Your leaders have a job to lead you in the way of righteousness and God's righteousness. It's up to you to have the faith to believe. It is. It's between you and God. Over the 20 years that I served under my pastor, whenever I had an issue that I didn't agree with, because there are times you just don't agree. My husband never knew about it. No one knew about it. I took it to God. And God gave me understanding. There was one time I can honestly say there was something I didn't agree with. I took it to the daughter, someone who she loves, someone who I respected, and I asked her about it, and we talked about it, and that was it. My husband never knew. My kids never knew. My church members, no one knew. I didn't go around complaining. Oh, heck no. I saw what happened to the children of Israel. They missed out on a lot. And that wasn't going to be me. But other than that, I didn't. I did not complain about my pastor. I didn't complain about any of the leaders. I didn't complain about my next church members. My husband, my kids never heard me complain because of my relationship was with God. If I had a problem with anybody, anything, any situation, I took it to God. Lord, help me to understand. Lord, you give me direction. I didn't anger, any type of jealousy. I dealt with God on anything. I can't get along with the person. Lord, I need you to help me to love this person sincerely. Your walk is with God. They went and Moses, come on. They're tearing him down with these complaints. You brought us out here to kill our family members, our babies. Let us thirst to death. So he takes it to God. And God tells him to say, okay, Moses, the staff that you hit the Nile River with, I want you to hit the rock. So he hits the rock, water comes out. You notice how baby they are? He's like, Moses, what can I do for you to help? Or Lord, I thank you for bringing me through this. I know you can take me further. Give me direction. What can I do to help? Anyway, fast forward. I'm spending too much time on that because I really feel strongly about that. Leave your leaders alone and take it to God. And he'll direct you. I'm a true believer of that. I walk it, I live it, and trust me, it's worked for me all these years. Okay? So it doesn't mean I don't get weak where I want to, but I don't, and I talk to God about it. Okay? And if someone comes around you and they start gossiping and talking about the leaders of the church, you say, you know what? Let's pray about that thing, because don't forget, your pastors are human too. Your leaders are human too. They go through their trials too, and they're not perfect. Okay, so we need to uplift them as well. And so look at this, guys. They have a battle, right, with the Amalekites. Now that's pretty cool. What's that after that? Ooh, Jethro. What came next? Jethro is next. Oh my God, Jethro, the father-in-law, is off the chain. Anyway, before Jethro, there was a fight, and the children of Israel were against the Amalekites. And so this is when I hear about Joshua. Moses told Joshua to lead this battle, right? And so he calls Aaron and Hur to go up, up the mountain with him. And so as long as Moses held the staff up that was in his hand, the Israelites won the battle. But as soon as he went to drop, because your arms can only stay up for so long, as soon as his arms got weak and tired, his arms would drop down, and so the children of Israel would start losing. And so Aaron and Hur, what they did was they were proactive. They went and got a rock for Moses to sit on, and they held him up. They held those arms up all day long, and Israel won the battle. Isn't that something? So that says a lot. This word, guys, is no joke. This is us for real, our real life scenarios. And sometimes we have to lift each other up. Our leaders, that's a hard situation. I'm telling you. And not only that, I mean, leaders of not only the pastors, but your youth leaders, the leaders of your Bible study. I mean, the leaders of your home, leaders in general. Everyone, sometimes need that extra support to help them. We complain so much that we really just need to stop and just see what we can do to help out. And so it's all for the glory of God, not for a pat on our back, because the person who you bless, who God bless, who allows you to bless, is not going to be able to be the one that bless you back, because it's a relationship between you and God, and you're doing it for his glory, and he will bless you. And they really can't bless you as much as God can. I'm just saying, though. And so, they win that battle. And so this is the thing, though. God told Moses to write that down and to recite it to Joshua later. Joshua, love that Joshua. And so also with the manna, God told Moses to preserve some of that manna for later, so that the children of Israel will see what God preserved them with through the wilderness for 40 years. Yeah. And so, he didn't preserve it overnight for the children of Israel, except for that six day, but he did preserve that 40-year portion. Isn't that something? God can do whatever he wants to do. And so, but he expects obedience. And you know what? The obedience is for our good. We feel like, oh, God is against us. He don't know us. And I'm my own person. And, oh, y'all better start right now. And God created you. He knows you more better than you know yourself. And so get this, guys. Jethro comes. Jethro is the father of Moses. Remember when Moses ran away from Egypt? And I think about that thing. It's like, okay, Moses ran away from Egypt, and he wound up being in the priest's household. His father-in-law, the priest. I see that as Moses, something drastic happened to him. When he's at the lowest point of his life, God directed him to him, the man of God. And I look at their relationship, and I see that Moses confided in his father-in-law. He confided in him when the Lord first talked to him about him going to Egypt. And now he's confiding in him now with this situation. But the thing is, I mean, he told him everything that happened with the Egyptians and the Israelites. And so you got to look at their relationship. Moses runs from Egypt. God directs him to him. And people always say, people only come to God whenever they're at their lowest point. Okay, whenever else you're going to learn. Seriously. And so he's there, and I see him as a spiritual father as well, even though that's his father-in-law. And so get this. Moses had apparently sent his wife and his children to stay with Jethro for a bit. And so now Jethro was bringing Moses' wife and his sons back to Moses. And so after Moses confides his father-in-law, let him know what God has done. Don't forget, Moses was raised in the Egyptian palace. And yes, there were Hebrew brothers, but what was his spiritual life like? Hello. It clearly is God sent him where he needed to go to learn of God. That's the way I see it. And so Jethro observes what Moses does. Moses is standing up from sun to sundown, listening to people's arguments and guiding them and giving wisdom and helping them to solve problems, right? So Jethro's like, you are going to let these people kill you. And look at the wisdom that Jethro gives. And this is where we see that chain of command. I don't think we saw this before. And then, we use this in real life scenario. Okay, what you ought to do is teach the people what God expects of them. And then not only that, you should have people like maybe someone over 1,000, people over thousands, people over hundreds, people over 50s, people over 10, like supervisors. First you have maybe team leaders, and then you have supervisors, and then you have managers, and then you have, I'm like, wow, that's so awesome, right? So you see the chain of command, and then the serious issues, you let those other people who you can trust, capable leaders who can guide the people. And when they have a situation that they can't handle, then you bring that to me. Tell me that's not wisdom. Tell me that's not wisdom. So yeah, Jethro was clearly a wise man of God who trusted God and was able to lead Moses. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I love Jethro's position in Moses' life. And Moses didn't get so big-headed. Well, I just led all these millions of people out of Egypt. I don't need to listen to you anymore. No, he humbly listened to his father-in-law. We don't know everything, everyone. Just listen. Just listen. Okay, to wise counsel. And Jethro gave him some wise counsel. I love that. So, guys, we are, the complaining. Oh, my God. Anyway, try not to be that complainer. Take it to God about your pastors, about your situation, why you bring your complaint to Moses? Take it to God. Okay, listen. And you leaders, don't get discouraged, please. Okay, so you also have to ask God for wisdom as well. Okay, because that's your walk to be a leader. Okay, so that was day number 23, Exodus chapter 16 through 18. Enjoy the journey, guys. See yourself, see God, ask God for direction. Listen to what he tells you, and just ask him for direction in the situation. Self-control in whatever you may be going through. Lord, help me not to complain. Help me to, trust you. So yeah, it does take some action on our part, self-control. But we can't do without God. I'm proof of that too. Well, anyway, you guys have a blessed day and continue the journey. God bless.